Welcome in to I Remember My First Time.
Whoa.
Oh, don't be nasty, Jacob. Not that first time.
Damn it.
This is a podcast about cinematic
Oh
awakening,
my god, I love the sound of that.
where we talk about the movies we love with someone who has just popped their cherry to that movie.
And we know I love a good cherry pop.
Jacob, are all the movies we do on this podcast going to be good movies?
God, I hope not.
Do you like shitty movies?
I love shitty movies. Sometimes I like them even more than good movies.
Are we critics?
Absolutely not.
But do we love the shit out of movies?
We love the fucking shit out of movies.
What cinematic masterpiece do we have on tap this week?
We have the 2010 Adam McKay, Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg buddy cop classic, The Other Guys.
Jacob, I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
Gator needs his gat, you punk ass bitch.
Let's talk about The Other Guys.
I'm so excited. I fucking love this movie.
I am noted cinephile, BJ Leica.
And I am also another cinephile. I don't know if I'm noted, but I'm damn sure recognized. I'm Jacob Ekus. You're the virgin here this week, aren't you?
I have not seen The Other Guys until this week.
Yes. And BJ, what did you think of it?
So movies like this are very difficult for me because it's clearly not bad. It's just a lot of the stuff didn't land with me.
Not all of our listeners know this just yet, but you're a bits guy. You love bits.
I'm a big fan of bits. I am a citizen of Pittsburgh. But this movie, one of the bits was they had about 5 jokes that they repeated, 4, 5, 6 times throughout the movie. It was the I'm a peacock, I need to fly. There was incredibly attractive women being attracted to Will Ferrell. There was the wooden gun bit that they went back to.
And the Derek Jeter cops shooting innocent civilians.
Yes, and Derek Jeter being shot. They did each of those jokes at least 4 times, some more than others. I don't think they were bad. They just didn't land with me.
Okay.
So when you're making that many jokes about things that just aren't landing with me, it's really hard.
Okay. So did you enjoy the movie?
I enjoyed the movie. This movie had what's really weird. I get this a lot with Clint Eastwood movies, and this is my theory about Clint Eastwood movies. They're not bad. I don't dislike them, but with what they have, they should be 20% better than they are.
Interesting.
So with Will Ferrell, with Adam McKay, with this script, with all the cameos, Mark Wahlberg, Michael Keaton, this movie should have been great or really good, but instead it was just kind of okay.
I loved this movie. This movie was amazing. I don't remember the first time I watched this movie, but I know I fucking love Will Ferrell. And for all of our listeners out there, initially when Will Ferrell came out with Anchorman, I watched 30 minutes of that movie. I turned it off and I was like, this movie sucks. My brother's favorite movie. Begged me to watch it for years, and I finally watched it, and then I became a Will Ferrell fan. And you've brought this up times in this podcast. Will Ferrell is best when he's in the movie for 15 minutes.
15-minute Will Ferrell is the best Will Ferrell.
And that is great Will Ferrell. But the best Will Ferrell to me is all movie long, in my face, down my throat. He's fucking funny. And I love this movie. I love Mark Wahlberg. I love Michael Keaton. All the bits hit for me. I found them all funny. I found them funny when I first watched this movie, because when I first watched this movie, I was like, this movie fucking rocks. And then when I rewatched it, I liked it more than American Ultra.
Okay. I did prefer American Ultra. I thought it was a little more fun. The odd thing in this movie, I leaned more towards the action sequences than the comedy sequences. I was much more interested in the movie and having a better time during the action stuff than the comedy stuff.
And it's interesting because Adam McKay, even after this movie and before this movie, he's not an action movie director. No. And the action scenes in this movie were incredible. I second that. But the bits didn't land for you.
Well, don't take our word for it. Let's see what the critics had to say about The Other Guys.
Love it.
Metacritic score 64%.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Not even pretty good.
For
That's
a Will
real
Ferrell
good.
comedy, that's shocking. 78% by Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
And 6.6 out of 10 by IMDb.
So lowest by users.
Yes. Yeah, IMDb had the lowest. It is a movie described by recently mentioned IMDb. Two mismatched New York City detectives seize an opportunity to set up like the city's top cops, whom they idolize. Only things don't go quite as planned.
I like that review other than the fact whom they idolized. Because Mark Wahlberg did not at all.
Absolutely
and I don't
not.
even think Will Ferrell did. He just wanted to stay at his desk. I don't think he idolized those guys at all.
I think he liked them. I don't think he idolized.
Sure, he liked them. Yeah. And the reason he liked them is because he was able to stay at his desk where he wanted to be because they did their thing.
Right.
I like that summary. I don't like the idolized part.
Okay. Too strong a word.
Way too strong. This movie ain't about strength.
No. It's quite the opposite, actually.
Quite the opposite. Unless you're talking about Gator.
He needs his gat, bitch.
You punk-ass bitch. So tell me more about critics, BJ.
I have some sad news.
Okay.
Roger Ebert was alive during this movie. He did not review it, and it is not on RogerEbert.com, his reviewed website that we use, movies that came out after he passed. So I decided to replace Roger Ebert's review with somebody who we've had that did a terrible review for us.
Who do we have? Who is it?
This is Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly.
I don't recognize the name.
He was the one that hated Quigley Down Under.
For the Aborigine titties?
That guy, yes.
That was the only reason he didn't like that movie, right?
I think he said something about the score being terrible.
Whatever, he's wrong.
No, the score is terrible.
No.
And then he spent 4 paragraphs wondering, how can you put Aborigines' titties in a PG-13 movie?
Awesome, I'm excited about his review. Tell me.
Oh, he loved it.
Get out of here.
He loved it. He ended his review by saying, "The Other Guys is aimed at all of us out there who long for excitement, yet cling to safety because we're more desk jockey than super cop ourselves. It's a comedy of manhood for the age of emasculation. A-, Owen Gleiberman."
I really like that review.
I thought you would.
I didn't think that he could redeem himself from the masterpiece that is Quigley Down Under. Because I know I make a joke about the movies on this pod being classics, but that one is. And he made up for it. That was incredible. I like that. That's an all-time great top review for a movie.
Well, man, he's been right. He's been with them for a long time.
Yeah.
Quigley was like 91, 92.
Yep. And this is 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time. Wow.
Good for you, Owen Gleiberman.
No kidding. Wow.
Well, how'd this movie do in theaters?
What do you think the budget was?
Oh, man, I'm really confused because the last movie we did, American Ultra, only had a $30 million budget.
Correct.
So I'm really scared. So I'm going to say this one was doubled at $60 million.
60. It was $100 million.
Oh.
And it came out in 2010, and there has been enough inflation since then because we live in America. Actually, it's the world economy. It's not America.
Sure.
Yeah. $130 million budget in today's standards.
Okay, so I was actually thinking about the 100 million range, but American Ultra got me all fucked up.
Sure.
So, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
It looks like an expensive movie.
So with a $130 million budget in today's money, it made $225 million worldwide.
Successful.
So back in 2010, 170 million. Yeah, and it made that much money coming out in August.
Late summer movie.
Yeah. So not a blockbuster, not with blockbuster numbers. Still made a ton of money.
I can see that. The kids want to see Will Ferrell. Dad wants to see Mark Wahlberg.
Well, I mean,
let's go watch a stupid buddy cop movie together.
Well, and at this time, Adam McKay and Will Ferrell were Anchorman, Talladega Nights, and Step Brothers.
Right.
This is a home run.
Yeah.
It's a home run. It wasn't compared to those three movies because those three movies...
all better than this.
Those three movies are hard to top.
True, yes. Yeah, those are...
That's almost impossible. Those are some of the three greatest comedy movies of all time.
Well, and especially the age we are, they were incredibly important in our life.
Yes. So I'm not holding it to the fault of Will Ferrell and Adam McKay for not topping those three.
Right.
That's the popularity of the movie.
I think the cultural following is, I'm probably not the best person to answer this. I feel like there's a few TikTok audio from this movie.
I'm not sure, but I can see that. I mean, there's some great lines in this movie. Just because the bits don't land throughout the 2-hour movie doesn't mean the bit doesn't land in 30 seconds.
Because I'm pretty sure I've seen a few of the Gator needs his gat punk ass bitch, and it's like captioned by like when you're 14 and spending the night at your friend's house and they grab the retainer.
And that's how you do it.
That's kind of funny, right? Yeah. And then there's the when Dwayne The Rock Johnson is at the press conference and they ask if he's dating a Kardashian or Beyonce, whoever it was, I don't remember.
Kardashian.
Yeah. And he goes, no comment, but yes. That's on there too. So I think there is a little bit of a cultish following.
Okay. Like I said, you can't get away from just people that like Will Ferrell movies.
Right.
Because I'll watch Land of the Lost any goddamn day.
That makes one of us.
Yeah. You haven't even seen it, so I don't want to hear it.
I'm not going to.
I don't want to hear it from you. Yes, you will.
I'm not.
With this podcast, you sure fucking will.
Oh, I got something planned that day.
Yeah, sure you do. Little bitch.
I got to clean my butt that day.
All right, so movie review. Thoughts on the movie, BJ?
Strange. All the parts were there. The sum of the pieces was far greater than the whole. The parts were there to make an excellent movie. It's not an excellent movie. I think this movie might have been better as a drama. I think the reveal, while interesting, comes maybe a little too late in the movie.
Yeah, I see that.
I like Mark Wahlberg as a douchebag. I like Mark Wahlberg as a likable guy. He doesn't really pull off likable douchebag that well in this movie.
So on your first point, remind me your first point again? It was
better as a drama than a comedy?
Yeah, that's not true. This movie was great as a comedy.
Okay.
I loved it. It was everything that I wanted. I loved it as a comedy.
Okay. All right.
I don't think it could have been better. Making fun of the explosion, like, oh my God! What? How do people walk away from this cool in the movies? It's total bullshit.
Oh no, that part was great. I'm talking about the plot being.
Oh no, I get that too.
Yeah.
The plot too. Like, I'm cool with it being a comedy. I think it works great that way, and I like Mark Wahlberg as a likable douche.
Okay.
He was disliked by enough people. Will Ferrell's obviously a nice guy in this movie. Eva Mendez is a sweetheart, and they like Mark Wahlberg, and I bought it. As a likable douche, I was like, yeah, I'm sold.
That's fair.
But in regards to what I liked about the movie, everything.
Well, like I said, with the parts of this movie, I can definitely see how someone can really like this movie.
Yeah.
It didn't quite stick the things I wanted it to stick.
Well, and like you're a bits guy, and like you said, this movie is made up of 5 bits, and if they didn't hit for you, they're never going to hit for you.
Right.
And they hit for me.
And like I said, it's not that they weren't funny, they weren't interesting, whatever. They just didn't hit. Derek Jeter getting shot. A cop shot an innocent person, and we're making a joke about it. I don't like that.
Yeah, that did not age well.
And I hate the Yankees.
Yeah.
And especially the 2010 Yankees with A-Rod and Jeter. Who didn't hate them? And I was like, it's in poor taste. Beautiful women being attracted to Will Ferrell. Just weird.
I thought that was so funny. Because Will Ferrell's such an awkward, big-looking dude. He's clearly not good-looking. I thought that was so funny. Because it was... And the reason I thought it was so funny was it was so automatic. Like, the moment a hot girl came on screen. Like, the hot girl was a bad guy. Like, the second she's on screen, you know she's sexually attracted to Will Ferrell. And nothing's said. It's just a look she gives. I thought it was so funny.
No, like, it's a funny bit. It just... for whatever reason, didn't land. And it's not, I didn't find it believable or anything like that. I don't know why. It didn't land for me.
That's so funny, because even the way Will Ferrell played it off, his character just like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, everything was funny for it. Well, everything was funny about it to me.
Oh, Heather Locklear was a little heavier back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it wasn't bad. It just for some reason didn't land. Maybe it was the mood I was in. I don't know, but they didn't land for me. The Peacock.
When it's funny that this movie didn't land on those aspects for you, because I felt for sure. I felt this was a good pick for a movie because your thing about Will Ferrell is you like him in 10, 15-minute doses. And I thought that this was a really good, toned down, funny Will Ferrell movie.
Very toned down Will Ferrell. And I like Will Ferrell in it.
Yes. So I thought you'd like the movie more just because of that alone. And I thought that maybe the bits would have hit because of that.
Okay.
Because you don't have normal yelling in your face Will Ferrell. Any funny or interesting things you notice about the movie?
This is my reaction every time Michael Keaton comes on the screen in a movie. Fuck yeah, it's Michael Keaton! Michael Keaton's in this. That's great.
And Michael Keaton is great in this.
I feel like I missed some cameos because they're everywhere.
Yeah, and a lot of the cameos, I didn't even include them on the trivia because they were 1-second cameos. Like Tracy Morgan is in the background of one scene. Rosie Perez is in the background of one scene.
Same scene.
And
they're at the Knicks game.
Yeah, but unless you're looking for it, like I like cameos where it's like, this is a cameo.
Sure. Where this one's like, oh, Brooke Shields says call me when he leaves, right?
This is There's a great example in this movie. There's a cameo that I don't even know if you noticed. I'm showing them a Parks and Rec right now. And there's a cameo from Shauna Molly Tweep.
Oh, the great reporter.
The great reporter.
Yeah.
She is Shauna Molly Tweep's in this movie as a reporter.
Tom Haverford hitting on her from the background.
Yeah, yeah. So that was my favorite cameo of this movie, and it wasn't a real cameo.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah. I didn't include the cameos because of that, because they're so quick. It's like, okay, get out of here.
Yeah, that was something like I wasn't expecting, and by the time I realized how many of them, I was like, I wonder how many I've missed.
Yeah. What did you not like about the movie, other than the bits just missing?
The script was kind of weird. I don't know if it worked for a comedy. It's a very interesting, bad guy approach, because I mean it's kind of frighteningly realistic.
Yeah.
On what they did, but 100%. they rolled it into a comedy where it's like this could never happen, and it's like, no, this has happened many times. I believe Dallas Police and Fire departments just got a huge hit to their pension by some bullshit financial know-it-all who fucked them out of a bunch of money.
Yeah, within the last couple of years.
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3. I think it was pre-COVID, so maybe 2018, 2019.
I remember that.
That range. Yeah. That was kind of weird to me. The main bad guy, the Australian guy, Stephen Coogan. I don't even know his name in the movie.
Yeah, you don't need to. His name's Stephen Coogan.
A little bit too likable for a bad guy that was, I don't know how many people are on the police department pension in New York. A lot. And he was willing to fuck them out of all their money.
Yeah.
Way too likable, way too good a guy for that. Like I felt myself rooting for him too much. Because he's an asshole that was about to fuck over regular people out of all their money so he could appease his rich asshole friends.
Yes. I like the bad guy. The bad guy that I didn't like was the British special agent guy.
I didn't understand why that was in there.
I didn't like him at all.
He wasn't menacing enough to be menacing, funny enough to be funny, ironic enough to be ironic, or smart enough to be smart.
Yeah, he just wasn't good. You could have put Jason Statham in that role. It would have been way better.
Oh, make him like super menacing behind the scenes.
Yep, would have been way better. You've been ragging on this movie pretty hard so far. What did you like about it? Because you enjoyed watching it.
I did. Michael Keaton, awesome. I really enjoyed the Will Ferrell performance. I really thought if I liked it or hated it, it would be based on the Will Ferrell performance. But I liked his performance more than the movie. Michael Keaton is awesome. He's hilarious in this movie.
Yes.
All the side characters, opening on Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock, Rob Riggle and Damon Wayans Jr. as kind of the JV version of The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. Mm-hmm. They were hilarious. A lot of the little bit scenes, Rob Hubel coming in, describing what happened in Will Ferrell's car.
I didn't even catch the miniature version of The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh yeah, they were.
I didn't catch that connection.
I mean, they were next in line.
But even down to like race, it's an exact mirroring. It's funny that you say that because like on all fronts, because it really hits home the other guys.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The tongue-in-cheekedness of making fun of buddy cops. The movie's literally called The Other Guys. It's clearly making fun of buddy cop movies. I thought they did a good job of that. I found myself more intrigued in the action scenes than the comedy sequences. I thought the action scenes were fantastic.
I don't know if I've already said it already, but Adam McKay is not an action movie director.
Could have fooled me in this movie.
Well, they were incredible.
They're good. Really, really good.
Things I didn't like about this movie, really nothing.
Okay.
I enjoyed everything about the movie. It was great from the moment it started to the moment it ended. My rating probably won't reflect that, but like we talked about in this podcast, not every rating is created equally. Because I realize what kind of movie this is. Like when I turn on any Austin Powers movie, I enjoy that movie from the moment it starts to the moment it ends. But Austin Powers might be a 7 at best.
And this movie does not.
8 at best.
This movie does not try to hide what it is at all.
No,
they are very upfront with you on what it is.
Yes. So and I love that about it. I love when movies do that. They're just like, hey, this is what we're doing. I loved Will Ferrell in this movie. I'm such a big Will Ferrell fan that when I say it's a sneaky great performance by him, I don't know what that means because I like them all.
You think he should get more credit for this movie than he does in the general sphere of what people think?
Yeah. I love Mark Wahlberg in this movie. I know you don't like him as a likable douche, but I thought it worked really well. I thought it was great. And I thought and I think the reason it works great, and I just thought of this just now, is his puppy dog face.
Great puppy dog.
Because he has a puppy dog face, and I think that's why it works. I love Michael Keaton. I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Samuel L.
Jackson. Damon Wayans Jr., Rob Riggle. I love Michael Keaton the most, though. The authenticity of a middle-aged man in 2010, every time someone asks him how he's doing, he's just like, I'm good. I'm working 2 jobs so my son can go to school at NYU because he's a bisexual and he's trying to experiment things. Like, he's clearly not okay with it on one end because he's been raised in this hyper-masculinity, middle-aged 2010 man, like everything that I've ever been taught that this is wrong. But at the same time, we're all just humans. This is my son. I'm okay with this, but I have to bring it up because part of me is not okay with this. I thought that was so funny.
Well, and
I thought it was so funny.
There's a reason he's at a Bed Bath & Beyond and not a Home Depot, right?
Yes, because he's trying to learn more about his bisexual son.
Right, and he's maybe not as masculine as he once thought.
Because I tell you what, he fucking loves the fact that the new bath mats are in.
You guys here for some bath mats?
He's just as excited as everybody else in that team meeting about the bath mats. If it wasn't for Will Ferrell, Michael Keaton would have been my favorite part of the movie.
One question I think needs to be asked. Is this a good movie or a bad movie?
This is a good, bad movie.
Okay. It's not trying to be good, right?
It's not trying to be good, and it's not trying to be bad, nor is it bad. Because sometimes even when you're not trying to be bad, you're still bad. But it's not trying to be anything. It's just trying to be what it is. It's trying to be a spoof or a tongue-in-cheek buddy cop movie.
Yeah, and it does it. So it's not trying to win an Oscar. It's not trying to be one of the great comedies of all time. It is what it is, yes. And it knows it.
Yes. Which then begs the question of our movie-related talk.
I think this is the podcast to do it. I think this is the Adam McKay talk.
Which is interesting because he's had a lot of movies, and we're choosing the Adam McKay talk on this. And not to say that the Adam McKay talk won't come back up in later podcasts, but it's interesting that we chose it for this movie, I think.
Well, like The Big Short is not what I don't think of Adam McKay when I think of The Big Short.
No, that's the only movie that he's done that when I hear it, I don't think Adam McKay.
Step Brothers, there's a lot to talk about in Step Brothers.
So before we keep going with this, it's interesting that The Other Guys is the first Adam McKay movie to not be produced by Judd Apatow.
Okay.
Which means Anchorman, Talladega Nights, and Step Brothers all had Judd Apatow influences of one nature or another.
And maybe that's what this movie was missing for me.
Well, and so with that being said, maybe that's what the rest of his movies outside of The Big Short and Anchorman 2. Because Anchorman 2, you already have the established Anchorman.
Correct.
The Big Short, we've already discussed, isn't an Adam McKay movie.
No.
It is. His other movies, The Other Guys, Vice, which is the Dick Cheney Christian Bale movie. I've never seen it, and honestly, I'm not that interested.
I'm over biopics.
Yes. And then Don't Look Up.
Oh, the new Netflix.
Yes.
Leo and Jennifer Lawrence.
I was really excited for that movie with where everything is politically and as a country and COVID and yada, yada, yada. And even with environmental stuff and yada, yada, yada. I didn't finish that movie. I started it and watched a good hour and 20 minutes of it. It's almost a 3-hour movie.
Oh,
and
why?
I turned it off.
Because that movie's a satire. This movie's tongue in cheek. Don't Look Up is a satire, correct?
Yes.
Why did he feel the need to make a 3-hour satire?
2 hour and 25 minutes. It's a 2 hour and 25 minute satire. So I turned it off halfway through. It's just interesting when we talk about Adam McKay because this was a great movie and it wasn't even really that political. Because we've had this discussion already this week. Everybody that's upset with this movie with the ending credits and the bad guy and everything, calling it liberal propaganda and all this shit, like, if you're not upset about what these large corporations and people are doing, no matter who you are, then what the fuck?
Yeah, like, it's not political.
No.
A bunch of people fucked most of the country out of a lot of money, and it was their fault, and they didn't get punished.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care about politics at that point.
Not even not punished, they were rewarded.
Yeah.
And they fucked a lot of people, a lot of hardworking, good people out of money.
Yeah. And no reconciliation whatsoever.
Out of all of the movies that came after Judd Apatow and Adam McKay's partnership, this is the least political out of them all.
Yeah.
By
far.
And people were ragging on that with the reviews we saw.
I mean, defending the CEOs and finance people that screwed over a good chunk of America, that's like being like, you know what? I think we bombed Cambodia and Laos the proper amount. Like, no, it was wrong.
The last thing I have to say about Adam McKay is I love The Big Short. I really love The Other Guys. You can keep doing your thing with these movies as long as you don't go hardcore, Don't Look Up. But make one of those other dumb movies like Step Bros.
Yeah.
Or Anchorman or Talladega Nights, please. I want to see another scene where essentially someone is praying to baby Jesus.
7 pound, 6 ounce.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Yeah. He was a man. He had a beard.
Walker, Texas Ranger. I just want more movies like that by Adam McKay because I think he's so good at it. And I don't necessarily think you need Judd Apatow's help because based on the Judd Apatow movies I've seen, there's not a whole lot of influence in those 3 movies. So I'd really like some more of that from Adam McKay. But give me another Big Short too because that's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
The Big Short's really good.
And we're both big Steve Carell fans. Without Steve Carell, that's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
The problem is it pisses me off to watch it.
Yeah.
Pisses me off to watch it.
I feel that. So Adam McKay, all I'm saying is whatever you're doing, keep doing it, but also give me some of the old school stuff too. Because I miss it.
We're moving on to my personal favorite part of the podcast, our Mount Rushmore of scenes.
Presidents are so cool.
You know what it is, Jacob. We start at 4. We work our way to 1. You're going to start. What's your 4th favorite scene in The Other Guys?
I kind of cheated with this movie, and I don't care because this movie's just a bunch of bits.
Damn it, I was going to cheat too.
It's basically the same 5 SNL bits over and over. So I'm like my fourth favorite scene is the dinner scene times 2. So I'm including both dinner scenes. Because in the first dinner scene, you have Mark Wahlberg meeting Eva Mendez and just being blown away. He's like, no, for real, who is this? And this old lady. No, for real. Who the fuck is this? Hey, I know she's dressed real sloppy.
She looks great.
Don't talk to her like that, Alan. Okay, you don't have to try to make her feel pretty when she's dressing like this, okay? You have Eva Mendez just not caring at all how Will Ferrell is and using the term "my little sugar balls"
with a straight face.
My girlfriend can pick that up tomorrow and call me my little sugar balls. I thought that was so fucking funny. And then the second dinner scene, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because after my little sugar ball, she also calls him Honey Dick.
Honey Dick.
Honey Dick is such a good pet name. I love Honey Dick. And Eva Mendez just sells it. Like, you know she loves Will Ferrell's cock. I know it. You know it. We all know it. I love that. But how that second dinner scene starts is like, I'm just sitting here wondering why someone would make a roast taste like a dog's asshole. And then I remember how much of a bitch my wife is. And she'd make a roast taste like a dog's asshole.
She's a doctor, too.
She's a doctor. And then in that same scene, she starts singing, "Pins Don't Cry." So, the dinner scenes are my fourth favorite scene. I love them both. To me, they were the same scene.
Okay, so I don't feel near as bad about cheating here then.
Okay.
I'm going to throw in a handful of little scenes that weren't quite full scenes.
That's okay.
Will Ferrell singing the incredibly depressing Irish songs at the bar.
Okay.
And
love that.
She was fucked by 4 English soldiers, but it was consensual. Rob Hubel explaining what happened to his stolen car that was found under the bridge. What the homeless people did in there.
Oh, the
soup
the
kitchen.
Soup kitchen is what you call when a bunch of homeless guys have an orgy in a car. Soup kitchen.
Then the pregnant raccoon had a litter in there.
Yep.
Hours later.
Yep.
A hilarious little scene. Eva Mendez getting her mother or grandmother to go talk to Will Ferrell.
I love
and
that.
Just saying the dirtiest shit.
The grandmother comes out and she goes, she says she loves you and she can't wait to see you again. And Will Ferrell's little smirk. That's not all she said. No.
There's nothing that it will never not be funny to me. An old lady saying extremely sexual things.
100%. It was hilarious. My third favorite scene, I'm going to cheat again.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I cheat twice. Were both bar scenes. Because they weren't together. So you had... one of my favorite things Will Ferrell does is when he does anything musical. Anchorman, he played the flute. Eurovision, he is a musician. He's a vocalist in Eurovision on Netflix.
Okay.
Semi-pro.
He does the halftime show.
He does the halftime show. He's a musician. He's got "Love Me Sexy" as a single.
Step Brothers, he has the voice of an angel.
Yes, he does the opera. I love when Will Ferrell does the musical stuff. So when he sang the old Irish songs, I fucking loved it because it's so fucking funny to me. And then the second bar scene, we all love a montage. The still shots of them drinking and just going ham.
A real interesting, fun way to do a montage.
Yes, very interesting. I loved it because you see that stuff on social media. And this movie came out in 2010. And I feel like you see that stuff more on social media nowadays than then. And I wasn't doing a lot of social media in 2010.
I'm not doing a lot of it now.
I'm not doing a lot of it now either, but I'm doing more of it than I was as a senior in high school, just because we're in 2022. But I'm saying, like, it was a cool montage in 2010. Like, if they came out with that montage now, I don't know if I'd find it as cool.
I'm shocked that they don't do that montage more.
Yeah.
My third favorite scene, I'm not going to cheat here. I'm not really sure where the scene starts. I'm going to start it at the second Samuel L. Jackson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson chase, the one that leads to their untimely demise. And the main reason it's this scene it has to run through the whisper fight. After the funeral, the whisper fight had me laughing so hard.
The whisper fight's my number one honorable mention.
Okay.
And nobody on this podcast, we haven't talked about this yet. You notoriously, yes, thank you, hate directors and actors and screenwriters insist on them whispering. Like, you explain it.
Look, I understand. The phone rings once, they pick it up. The phone never rings more than once in a movie or TV show. I get it. I'm fine with it. I understand you're talking so people around you can't hear you. I get it. Talk in a normal voice.
Yes. And the best movie, TV show that ever did this was Deadwood.
Yes.
You could be 3 feet away from somebody and Al Swearingen is normal voice because, yeah, I know that they're not supposed to hear.
The great Al Swearingen. But I'm surprised you enjoyed the whisper scene so much. Well, I think that's because it was making fun of that.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm not really surprised because that was my number one honorable mention. And I'm really upset that it didn't make my top 4, but that's because I cheated so much. But with your number 3 scene, that's also the same scene where Samuel Jackson and Dwayne The Rock Johnson look at each other and go, "What do you think? Aim for the bushes?"
There's no bushes. Spoiler alert. They're in New York effing City.
Like, where were they jumping?
I don't know.
So my second favorite scene is I guess I'm cheating with all 4 of my scenes on Mount Rushmore for this movie. It's the opening scene. It doesn't go to the whisper fight because, like I said, that's my number one honorable scene.
No. Those are 2 vastly different scenes.
Yes, but it starts with the opening with just did someone call 911? Holy shit! And the explosions, and then in the police station, Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg, everybody around listening, all the sex with women we have but we don't want to, that's all because of you. All the paperwork we don't want to do. And Will Ferrell just like, and we do it again and again. Shut the fuck up. If I want to hear you talk, I'll put my mouth up, I'll put my hand up your ass and work your mouth like a puppet. It ends with the last chase scene and Samuel Jackson and Dwayne Johnson dying. Because I just felt that all ran together.
Is that the most ridiculous death in movie history?
I think so. I really do. And I thought they did. You have the news conference scene where The Rock's just like, but yes. Like,
no comment.
But yes. They got caught with a 1/4 ounce of marijuana, which in a lot of states is just a misdemeanor. Is it worth $2.5 million worth of damage? Well, I'll leave that up to the citizens of New York City, the greatest motherfucking city on earth.
I think it was 12 million.
Whatever.
It was some absurd amount.
That was my number 2 scene. It opened up the movie, and immediately from the get-go, I know what I'm in for. It doesn't matter what anybody else does in this movie. You've set the tone. Thank you.
My number 2 is the final chase.
Okay.
Just an absolute hilarious scene. They pull up into a car carrier. The car already looks ridiculous with the white doors on his red Prius or whatever it was. I don't remember the exact colors.
Yep.
When they pulled up at the driving range and then start telling the guys to aim for the helicopter.
Where did you learn how to do that? GTA. And then the only good line the Australian bad guy says is, or the British bad guy, because I know the difference, says, someone's been playing GTA. Fucking great. I love that.
Yeah, it couldn't be more fun.
And it starts off in the greatest way with Steve Coogan going, "Do you want the gate code? Shut the fuck up." And just ramming out the gate.
Awesome. Just an awesomely fun scene. It's long.
It is long.
New York, not a great car chase city.
No.
But really fun chase scene.
Yes. I love that with bullet-ridden car, they hit it in such a very obvious, nonchalant way. That was so funny. New York being not a great car chase city, they made that fit. Because you're not going to have a great car chase in New York City.
Right.
So let's hide in the open.
Yeah, you've got to do ridiculous things to make a car chase in New York City work. And they did.
It was great. So my number one scene, again, I cannot reiterate this enough. We don't give a shit what scenes are here. I cheated to the max in this movie. My number one scene in the Mount Rushmore is the finale. And for me, it starts with the Bed Bath & Beyond scene.
If the whisper scene's my single funniest 2-minute stretch, the Bed Bath & Beyond scene is number 2.
It's so funny. Michael Keaton just, hey, the Bath Bats are on. We've already talked about, everyone's excited. He's like, also, there's a serial rapist in Crown Heights. Oh, whoa, my bad. Getting jobs confused. Ignore that. Actually, you know what? Don't ignore it. If you live in Crown Heights, be on high alert.
Walk in pairs.
I love that. I loved how much he was into working at Bed Bath & Beyond when Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg showed up. I loved the conversation. I loved it all. It goes into the meeting shootout in a high-rise building. Because to me, this is just the accumulation of the whole movie. I don't know why this all fits together for me, but there was no other way for me to do this. Just in my mind.
You get the big reveal, right?
Get the big reveal here. Yes, and with the Bed Bath & Beyond scene, you get the okay to get the big reveal. That's how I connect it. You have to add the grandma scene in here.
Is that in the same? Oh, okay.
It is in the same, because now they're hiding with Steve Coogan, and you get the grandma scene. And I love the hot girl dynamic with Will Ferrell. It almost got too much. Like, Will Ferrell movies always get a little too much, and sometimes they don't care. And here they almost got too much. They almost did. And the grandma's like, I can't keep doing this. And Will Ferrell's like, hey, I might die tomorrow. Like, I love your daughter. She loves me. I literally might die tomorrow. Please tell me what she said. And it kind of brought it back to earth for a Will Ferrell movie for me.
Yeah, because, like I said, I love an old lady talking sexual.
Yes.
I don't know if I need 15 minutes of it.
No. And like I said, it almost got too much, and they really brought it back. And then the car chase scene. I've already brought up the GTA reference. I love the car chase scene because to me that was the end of the big reveal. I threw it all together. I couldn't help myself.
With the big reveal in the big office meeting scene, White Stripes' Icky Thump is a kick-ass song to have a gunfight to.
The gunfight was cool. Like we've already said, Adam McKay is a great action movie director for the few short scenes he did. Sliding on the table, the double guns, Will Ferrell, like, it was all great.
Just what a kick-ass gunfight song.
It was awesome.
Yeah, love that. That was really close. I wanted to put that in, but I didn't know how.
Yeah, and you weren't willing to cheat like I was, clearly. Because I cheated hard.
Oh,
all 4 of my scenes.
My favorite is the opening scene. Oh shit! Someone call 911. Holy shit! There's a Camaro in a bus, and they just switched to Samuel L. Jackson's driving the bus. How he got there, we don't fucking care.
No, Dwayne Johnson's driving the bus.
Whatever,
because it's Samuel Jackson's car.
Sure.
You have the right. You have the right to remain silent.
It's a fantastic 4 minutes.
Yes.
Even though I wasn't a huge fan of this movie, and how much I'm going to watch it again, I don't know. I'll YouTube that scene every year or so and be like, move on with my life.
You might watch it one more time.
Sure. I'll watch that scene on YouTube way more than that.
Sure. So one of us cheated a lot, the other one didn't. But the person that cheated on the scenes really enjoyed the bits.
Yes.
And at least I could connect them. I mean, minus the dinner scene and the bar scene. I just really tried to pull shit out of my ass for that one.
We're loose on what a scene is on this podcast. We know that.
Now for one of the most interesting parts of the podcast, the character breakdown. Like we've already talked about with Will Ferrell, this was a sneaky good Will Ferrell movie for the entire 2 hours.
It kind of starts his 2010s run where he's not Ron Burgundy, Ricky Bobby. He's
Bill Brennan.
He's not those guys anymore.
Yeah.
He's kind of morphed into this character in the future movies.
Yes.
And it's not bad at all.
No.
I actually like it. I get it. It's not OG Will Ferrell, but like I have no problem with this type of character.
Honestly, if Will Ferrell did the Will Ferrell outrageous movie and then this movie and just alternated, he would probably bring in mad box office numbers. Because it's like, oh, yes, 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 yes.
Well, and I'm not willing to give up my 15-minute Will Ferrell movies.
Well, no, but he would get in those in the middle of doing these movies.
That's fair.
Because it's just 15 minutes.
Right.
It's the Buster Bluth in American Ultra.
Yeah, and he does it the best in Wedding Crashers, right?
Yes.
He's in 2 scenes.
Yes.
They film that in a day.
I just rewatched The Internship with Nema, and he's the mattress salesman who's got tattoos all over him. Great 15 minutes in The Internship. When was the last time you watched The Internship?
Never.
Oh my God. All right, cool.
Are we adding The Internship to the list?
Real soon.
What's his name in the Danny McBride Eastbound and Down?
I don't know.
Ashley Schaefer.
Yes.
Ashley Schaefer,
Yes.
Ashley Schaefer BMW. That is a phenomenal character.
Yes. I'm such a big Danny McBride fan. Oh my God. Mark Wahlberg. You don't like the likable douche.
No, and I like Wahlberg.
Which is funny because this is the first of 3 movies where he's a certified likable douche. It's The Other Guys,
Okay.
Daddy's Home,
Haven't seen
Daddy's Home 2.
Have not seen any of the Daddy's Home.
I know you haven't, but I'm just saying that enough people like this about Mark Wahlberg that they made 3 movies. And all of them are with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, so that connection really hit.
So he's starting to kind of go that way in Ted, right? But I think he's still likable in Ted.
Yeah.
He's more likable than douchebag.
Mostly because he's a loser.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really have the loser vibe in this
Not
movie.
at all. No, not at all. Even though he kind of is.
Yes.
When you see him with his ex-girlfriend, he's kind of a loser.
Even with other cops, he's a loser.
Because he shot Jita.
Yep. I love the likable douche Wahlberg character.
He didn't lose his Boston accent for this.
Why would he? It's in New York.
Okay.
Sure, there's a ton of Boston people that are on the New York City Police Force.
Yeah, but they ain't in the Bronx for a playoff game.
Bit of trivia. The only shot of the skyline of the movie is skyline of Boston for Mark Wahlberg.
Respect.
Yeah. It was shot in, it's a New York movie.
Right.
They're doing it in New York, but the only shot was Boston because Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, baby.
Surprised they weren't drinking Dunkin' Donuts. Love Dunkin'.
Eva Mendez in this movie. She's a stone cold fox. I love the dress that she's in the first dinner scene. She's a stone cold fox.
So real quick, because I agree with you. We don't, as good looking as she is in this movie, as sexy as she is, Sharron Stone is still at the top of the list, right? We don't need to have this discussion.
No, but I think Eva Mendez is a close second in this movie personally.
How close?
Not close enough to even come into running.
Gotcha.
But it's going to take a lot to overtake Eva Mendez in this because she just had, and maybe this is why the bit hit so much for me with Will Ferrell is Eva Mendez just had so much sex appeal. Like I was just madly attracted to her for the movie. It had a lot to do with her personality.
Oh yeah, because she's
and just how hot she is. Because even when Will Ferrell lost his shit and was like, "Who put that baby in you? Gay this bitches better be using Jimmy's." And she was just like, "Get the fuck out!" Like she still had that strong like, "Yeah, I'm in love with this person who's just bit about this movie." Everybody like, but she drew the line and like everything about Eva Mendez. Like, yeah, she's a close second for Sharron Stone, but she's not. She'll never overtake Sharron Stone.
She's great in this movie. She's incredibly funny as kind of being in that straight man role.
Yes, I mean she utters the lines, "Honey dick" and "my sugar balls"
with a deadpan face.
And then the story of her and Will Ferrell getting together, poison ivy all in his asshole. Pimps don't cry. Like, Eva Mendez was amazing. And speaking of how amazing Eva Mendez is, Michael Keaton might have been just as amazing. The only reason he's not is because I'm so attracted to him.
He's not quite as good looking.
Yes.
Yeah. He's not quite Ryan Gosling.
Correct.
Yeah.
But he kills every scene he's in. When Will Ferrell calls him Gene, I'm Captain. Okay.
And then was it the DA or assistant DA?
No, but before the DA, he goes, Captain Gene. Not Captain Gene, just Captain. I don't have a fucking kid's toy store, okay? In that scene, the DA's like, Gene, he prefers Captain. No, dude. This is the DA. He can say whatever the fuck he wants.
You realize this is 2 movies in 3 weeks we've done that has had a forensic accountant as a character?
What other movie?
Paul Dano in The Batman.
Was he a forensic accountant?
Mm-hmm. That's how he had all the dirt on the Wayne Fund thing.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. I have just as a little foreshadowing, because we know how much I fucking love that. There's more Batman trivia with this movie.
How is there Batman trivia in the other guy?
Just fucking wait, dude. We're still in character breakdown. I'm just giving some fucking foreshadowing.
Will Ferrell is Jim Gordon?
Maybe. You'll have to wait. Tone down that semi over there.
All right.
Jesus Christ. Wriggle and Wayne's. We've talked about this many times. Wriggle is not overused.
We love Rob Riggle.
He is used just enough where he's funny every time he's on screen.
Yeah, there's the exact right amount of Rob Riggle exposure in this world.
Yes. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they keep doing it, but they do.
Riggle's seen in The Hangover.
Yes.
Yeah, Riggle in The Hangover as a cop, ironically enough.
Yes.
Great. All Riggle's work on The Daily Show, fantastic.
Step Brothers.
Awesome.
Like Kobayashi.
You saw him? You saw him eat a man's penis?
It was on international waters.
Couldn't prosecute him. Rob Riggle's in The Office.
Yes. And then Damon Wayans Jr. The other guys is gonna be the reason that I watch Major Payne rather soon.
Because of Damon Wayans' son, Damon Wayans Jr.?
100%. I believe I was just stoned enough to ask you on the phone, is that the guy that played Major Payne in Major Payne? That's his son. Okay.
He looks just like him.
Looks just like him.
He's hilarious.
Yes. All the Wayans brothers are.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Keaton Ivory, Marlon. What's the other one? What am I missing?
Who cares?
Whatever.
Humor is genetic, is what we're trying to say.
Yeah. Next week is the White Chicks podcast. It is not. That movie does not age well.
I own that on DVD. It's amazing.
The first time I saw Terry Crews.
Awesome. That's amazing to see Terry Crews for the first time in White Chicks. The other cameos, which really the only other 2 we need to bring up is Samuel L. Jackson and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
They are killing it in what they're doing.
I don't know what they're on, and I don't care. I want some, because they came into this movie and they're just like, fuck yes. I'm an exaggerated version of myself.
Yeah, you know the 2 craziest actors to ever exist? I want you to play exaggerated versions of yourself.
Yes. The only thing that could have made this, I don't know if I would say better, but on the same par, is if you put Nicolas Cage somewhere in here.
If Nicolas Cage is the bad guy they're chasing in the opening scene.
Yeah. Playing an exaggerated version of himself. Oh my God. Oh my God.
The best thing that Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock did, they understood the assignment.
Yes. 100%. They came into this movie ready to fucking go.
Do you want to talk about the Adam McKay cameo or?
It was a bit of my trivia, but you brought it up now. Adam McKay was Dirty Mike.
Dirty Mike.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that car.
The soup kitchen.
Yeah.
Adam McKay was responsible for the soup kitchen.
Oh,
and for those of you that I have already forgotten, that is when a bunch of homeless people have an orgy.
You do not want your car to be the pot in the soup kitchen.
No, because you could end up with raccoon babies as well.
Oh, we're leading it right into trivia then, Trivia Man.
And we all know that I just have a raging hard-on for trivia.
Oh, you think the best website is IMDb's trivia on every movie that they do?
I do. In fact, I get upset when there's not enough trivia.
Is there enough for this movie?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
But sometimes there's like 2 things of trivia, and it really upsets me. I'm like, fuck you. There was more interesting shit. I know there was.
And I'm not willing to Google it.
Absolutely not. If it's not on IMDb, I don't give a shit. This is Will Ferrell's second highest grossing film worldwide after Elf.
How did this movie gross more than Step Brothers and Anchorman and Talladega Nights?
I have no idea, but it did. Second highest grossing movie behind Elf. That's insane.
I got Elf as a white elephant Christmas gift this year.
That's awesome. That's a great white elephant Christmas gift.
Well, anyway, it was like a bag, right? They had a little gift bag.
Okay.
And there was, hot chocolate and spaghetti and random stuff like that in there. Was it syrup? But there was a bunch of random crap related to the movie in the gift basket.
Wicked.
And I was like, oh, that's a great white elephant gift.
Okay, nice. This next bit of trivia is, I put it on here just for you.
Just for me?
This is specifically for you and only you. I could give a shit what anybody else thinks about this trivia.
Okay.
The role of Detective Higgs Highsmith, Samuel Jackson, was originally written with Michael Chiklis in mind. However, when offered the part, he turned it down to avoid typecasting after the series finale of his acclaimed police drama, The Shield.
I will now only refer to The Shield as the acclaimed police drama, The Shield.
Heard.
I love Michael Chiklis.
I knew you would love that trivia.
Yeah. Bald guys forever.
Bald guys forever. The Shield is still a show that I need to watch. Because I do a really good job of watching stuff for the time frame that they're supposed to be in.
Walton Goggins in it too.
And I'm a huge Walton Goggins fan, as we found out with American Ultra. I mean, we didn't find out. Y'all found out because I already fucking knew that.
Yeah, watch The Shield.
Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg make a cameo appearance on WWE Raw to promote the film.
Hell yeah.
I love the WWE.
2010 WWE? Was that like...
You had John Cena, Randy
Cena.
Orton. You had peak Cena, peak Randy Orton. You had The Undertaker, who was just barely out of like his main prime, but still really in like on top of shit.
The Undertaker's a great wrestler.
It was incredible. I said that I only put one bit of trivia in here with you, but I didn't want to tease you too much and get you too excited.
Ooh.
There's 2 bits of trivia in here for you.
It was my first time.
It was your first time. And I did that on purpose. You're a basketball fan.
I am.
Michael Keaton's character is Gene Mock. You know Gene Mock? Did that ring any bells to you?
It rings a bell. I'm thinking like...
He's named for the real-life basketball manager of the same name who piloted the California Angels to division championships in 82 and 86. Will Ferrell is an Angels fan.
That's baseball.
Whatever. I watch NFL football. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
It even says baseball. I said basketball. I'm an idiot.
Yeah. I'm not... My 82 Angels knowledge is rather low.
But you do like a good 30 for 30.
I do.
So I put that on there for you. I'm sorry that I really fucked it up saying basketball. Because you were way too excited.
So as a Rangers fan, am I going to have a movie where somebody's named Ron Washington?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. So hopefully on this podcast, we get to watch a lot of blaxploitation films because my love for Quentin Tarantino, my own personal studies at University of North Texas, I really want to get into blaxploitation films. Gamble's, who is Will Ferrell, college flashback nickname as a pimp was Gator, was the name of the lead in the blaxploitation classic Truck Turner.
Well, the good thing is I have not seen many blaxploitation films.
Awesome. We're going to have so much fucking fun.
Oh, my goodness.
Speaking of blaxploitation films.
How is there 2 blaxploitation film trivia for this movie?
Quentin Tarantino, baby. This is the first time since Jackie Brown in 1997 that Samuel Jackson and Michael Keaton are in the same movie. And Jackie Brown has a lot of blaxploitation.
The opening scene.
Yep. I mean, the lead actress of that movie,
Pam Grier. Incredible. She
made her career on blaxploitation films.
Jackie Brown might be at the top of my list of most underrated movies of all time.
Yeah. It's one of Nima's favorite Tarantino movies.
It's great.
It's fantastic.
It's De Niro and Keaton and Samuel L. Jackson.
I think you and my girlfriend like Jackie Brown more than the average Tarantino fan. Because Jackie Brown's incredible. And it's also the only Tarantino movie that wasn't written by Tarantino.
It was based on a book, right?
Yep. My last bit of trivia, I teased this earlier, a little bit of foreshadowing. Now it's coming full circle. Batman trivia.
How? How is there Batman trivia in this?
There was a possibility of Mark Wahlberg and Michael Keaton working on the next Batman together. After Michael Keaton was in the Batman movie with Danny DeVito as the Penguin, he was in talks to be in Batman Forever instead of Val Kilmer, and Mark Wahlberg would have played Robin.
Oh, so this is like Boogie Nights era. Wahlberg is.
Yep.
I can see Dirk Diggler as Robin. When was Boogie Nights?
Boogie Nights was 1997.
Oh, okay. So like Batman and Robin with George Clooney came out in 97. So this is a couple years before that. A couple years before the Diggler Mark.
Yeah,
Wahlberg.
Batman Forever would have been 95. But it still would have been great Wahlberg there because he's still Marky Mark in the Funky Bunch.
Sure.
You can make that into a Robin.
Of course. So how long is the Boogie Nights podcast going to be?
I don't know. I've never seen Boogie Nights.
What? Paul Thomas Anderson? Burt Reynolds?
I've never seen Boogie Nights.
Your boy John C. Reilly's in it.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
I love John C. Reilly. That's going to be on the pod very soon.
Oh, it's going to be a long podcast.
That's okay. I'm down for a long
A
podcast.
long
We just did the
podcast.
Batman. I can do long podcasts. I don't care.
Okay.
We can fucking do it. Movie impersonations for this movie. This was also a difficult movie to pick.
It was.
But at the same time, it was very easy. And I keep bringing up throughout even this podcast that I really dislike narration in movies. But so far, I haven't disliked any narration in movies.
Well, this movie's making fun of.
It doesn't matter. I still haven't liked it. I've said that I don't like it. But then when we talk about it, I'm just like, I'm okay with it in this movie.
When it's bad, it's so bad you remember it. When it's good, you're like, oh yeah, there was narration in the Batman.
Yeah, but I still think like right now, I can't think of any movie that I dislike.
Okay.
The Batman, this movie, Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, Forrest Gump.
Okay, yeah.
Like maybe they shine out more than other times, but I can't think of one right now. And I've been ragging on it hard.
So maybe you like narration.
Maybe I like narration. And that's really
Fight Club.
Fight Club, yes. It's really hard for me to overcome right now because I've really thought that I hated narration.
This podcast is about self-exploration.
Maybe I just hate that Scorsese does it in every film. Because I
don't hate the Rolling Stones.
No, I love Scorsese. I love what he does with cinema. I love what he does with films. But maybe I hate that he has a narrator in every fucking film he does. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why I hate narration. Because even when Scorsese does it, while I'm watching the movie, I'm okay with it. But then afterwards, I'm just like, there's another Scorsese narration film.
So with this narration tangent,
yeah.
I'm assuming that means we're doing our best iced teas.
100%. Body count, motherfucker.
Oh.
You know who Body Count is?
No.
I'll introduce you to it. Body Count is Ice-T's metal band.
Ice-T was in a metal band?
He has like 3 albums. He's the vocalist. It's incredible.
Okay. All right.
Body Count is about the number of cops he kills. That's the. Anyways, Ice-T narration. BJ is going to start off this impersonation because he is notoriously bad at this. I said that word wrong. It doesn't matter.
Hey, fools. Do you want your whites white? Do you want your clothes clean? Tide, cold water. I narrate Tide commercials, and I narrate this movie, and I've been getting checks from Law and Order for 36 years. 36 years, Jacob. 36 years I've been on Law and Order. I hated that. I hated that so much.
That was pretty bad. You really shoot yourself in the foot with making up what you want to do every time, but at the same time...
I'm not going to stop.
No.
I'm going to be me.
At the same time, I fucking love it, but you shoot yourself in the foot a lot because of it.
Probably.
Yeah, but I love it. It's amazing.
I do not practice these. I come in cold on purpose.
Everyone is cold every time we do this. No one has practiced this at all. This is not a gimmick. All right, here's mine. Y'all want to know the story of BJ Leica and Jacob Beekes, the 2 most badass cops of Dallas, Texas? They fuck up black people like any good police would for the city of Dallas. The cops we need today.
Why'd you go away with it at the end?
I don't
Was
know.
that a separate narration?
No.
Just lost it?
Just lost it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, neither of us were very good.
Mm-mm.
We're not near as badass as Ice.
Absolutely not. We're a couple suburban white dudes
who would love to get checks for 36 years from Law and Order.
We did our best.
We tried. We're sorry.
Final thoughts on the movie. So you'd probably watch it one more time.
Probably. Probably. I'll rewatch the opening scene many more on YouTube. Maybe even the last car chase scene I might throw on a few times on YouTube in my life.
Okay.
But the whole thing, maybe once more. I'm not going to seek it out.
Okay. So what's your rating of this movie?
It's below a 6. I'm sorry, it's above a 6 and below a 6.5. 6.2, 6.3, somewhere in that range.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, none of the bits hit for you.
No.
But you enjoyed it enough that it was enjoyable. And like you said, you'll watch it at least one more time. If you watch a movie more than once,
it's above a 6.
It's above a 6.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Yeah. I love this movie. This movie was amazing. I'm a huge Will Ferrell fan. I love Mark Wahlberg. I think we talked about it earlier this week. Mark Wahlberg has the very lucky distinction of being able to put Academy Award winner next to his name. No, sorry, Academy nominee next to his name.
The Fighter with Christian Bale, right?
No, The Departed. He was nominated for an Oscar for The Departed.
He's in The Departed for 17 seconds.
I know.
A great whatever. He's in there for 2 minutes.
Again.
And he's fantastic. So, I think you're wrong. I think it's The Fighter.
It's not, though. Christian Bale won for The Fighter.
Won, but Wahlberg was nominated. We're settling this discussion right now.
You're a bitch.
We were both right. Oh, no. The Fighter, he was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, no. He was not nominated for actor in The Fighter. Only The Departed. So like I said, he gets a little bit of a cheat, but I love Mark Wahlberg in this movie. Love Will Ferrell. Love Michael Keaton. I love everything about this movie. My rating on it, we've talked about this many times, and I'm sure we'll beat this into the ground. Not all ratings are created equal.
Right.
This, for me, is a 7.7.
And again, this movie's not trying to be a movie that's going to be popular 20 years from now.
No.
It's not trying to win an Oscar.
No. This is a 7.7 for me. It's not an 8. Yeah. Can't be an 8. I don't know why, because I love this movie. I will rewatch it. I've already seen this movie 3 or 4 times. I'll probably rewatch this movie another 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, you're in the right range for that.
Yeah.
For that kind of rating then.
So, should they remake it? Of course. Remake any buddy cop action movie as a comedy.
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
No. You're going to hit it. You're going to miss it. Who cares? Try.
Yeah. Not all of them are going to hit, but there's going to be enough good ones.
Yeah. Doesn't matter who you put in it. You can find any chemistry with anybody. Buddy cop comedy movies, they don't need to be badass action stars because Will Ferrell is not that.
Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum in 21 Jump Street
and is a
buddy cop. Those are buddy cop movies.
Yep.
And it's Jonah Hill. We don't care.
Yeah.
It's great.
They're fucking fun. Anything you would do to make this movie better?
A couple things that kind of stuck out to me. The first one is, I think, the serious storyline of financial people fucking over the common man probably makes a better drama than comedy. Because it's almost like hey, remember when they fucked you guys out of all that money? That was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe making it a drama may be better. You disagree. I don't. Whatever.
But I mean, at the same time, I understand what you're saying, because they could have made the bad guy have less stake, so to speak, but still made the same movie.
Sure.
Could have done all that stupid stuff because it's a comedy.
Right.
Without the stakes being so drastic. So I get that, because the stakes were so drastic and they were so real. Maybe it is a better drama.
The other thing is, with Wahlberg, with the car chases, put this movie in Boston.
Yeah.
I think this is a better movie in Boston. Boston's better for car chases. Mark Wahlberg in the Boston accent. More just absurd Boston accents in a movie, whether they're good or not in a movie like this.
And you can definitely have and you don't even have to touch on this in the movie. I feel like you can have a character like Will Ferrell be just as good driving in Boston and not be from Boston, because that character would know the streets of Boston.
Right.
He'd be such a loser to drive around every day to be really good at driving in Boston.
And he's just looking at MapQuest in his spare time.
Yes. He's playing GTA in Boston. He's playing live action, whatever. Like
GTA Boston sounds like a fucking awesome video game.
It sounds amazing.
All right, you're gonna have to knock over this Dunkin' Donuts. You're gonna have to rob the Style Market for a roll of quarters.
You have a pretty good Boston accent. Yeah. I didn't particularly like the use of the Prius in this movie. I thought that was a little much. And I love this movie. I think it's amazing. I think the only thing I would change is maybe change the Prius to, I don't know, like a Corolla or a Civic. I think that would be more funny. Even like a standard transmission Civic. I think that would be more funny than a Prius. I think Prius really tried too hard to take it home with the Will Ferrell character. And I think if you would have put him in a Civic that you had to manually change gears.
And he's like, oh, look, it's a safe car. It's a Toyota. They last forever. And he's kind of
my first car was a manual transmission. So maybe I'm like, I think that would have been more funny.
Well, and I think 2010, I think the Prius was kind of a joke. Like it was kind of a bit.
Yeah. I still, even if it was a bit in 2010, I wouldn't have gone with it. I would have changed that. And I would have put a manual transmission. I think that's really funny. And there's not a lot of manual transmission. Like I think that would have just been funny in the last car scene.
I think you could have done some fun tongue-in-cheek action stuff.
Yeah.
With the standard transmission as well.
Yeah.
You do a real aggressive camera shift to him shifting. No pun intended. And I think that'd be kind of fun stuff to do with that.
I agree. So that's all I would do just to change the Prius. That's it. Other than that, perfect. Would you recast the movie? Is there another likable douche you would put in this movie opposite of Will Ferrell? Remember the tuna scene?
I remember the tuna scene.
Okay.
And the likable douche, I'm thinking, and I think you're going to agree with me, second time he's come up in this podcast, Danny McBride should have played Mark Wahlberg's character.
I can get behind that. I was almost going to argue with you because there's no way Danny McBride gets in Mark Wahlberg's shape, like relative to it, just relative, not completely. But with it being a comedy, buddy action flick, you could have done that. And it would have been perfect because he would have sold it. Because Danny McBride does such a good job at physical comedy, he would have been like a Chris Farley. Like, even though I'm big, I can do all of this shit.
Oh, I can slide across the gun while the White Stripes Icky Thump plays.
Yes, I can
pull both arms out and pop, pop, pop.
Yes, I can do the traffic montage scene. It wasn't a montage, but the traffic scene. Yeah. I think you're right. Danny McBride would have stolen this. And I think he would have played really well with Will Ferrell. I'm not even going to try to recast anybody in this movie because I think that's so good.
Oh, I mean, you can't recast Keaton or Riggle or Wayne. So I guess you can Riggle and Wayne.
I mean, you could, but I didn't think you could recast anybody because I like Mark Wahlberg in this movie, but I really do think Danny McBride makes this better. It's
more of a traditional comedy than the action comedy that this is.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what this movie needed for me. I don't know.
Yeah. I really like the Danny McBride pick. Wow. It's gonna take you a lot to overcome that recast pick. So we're gonna have to remember this.
I'm good at that sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Good and bad reviews from users.
These are kind of weird on comedies from my experience, which is far less than you.
Well, this is one of the first movies that I asked for your help because I couldn't really figure it out because none of them are really funny.
Yeah, because the bad reviews on comedies are 95% of the time, this movie wasn't funny. And like that's essentially the entire review.
Yeah. I brought this up in this podcast already. It's the classic when I was in high school and people went and saw The Love Guru and they said they hated it because it was stupid. Duh. It's a Mike Myers movie. It was going to be stupid. It wasn't going to be anything but stupid.
It's Adam McKay and Will Ferrell. Did you think this movie was Schindler's List?
Yeah, exactly. We always start off with the good ones. The good one for this one is it's out of this park. It's Derek Jeter hitting a home run.
Okay.
It's Will Ferrell making David Wallace jump off the building. It's Lights Out. And yes, I did use suicide as a Lights Out reference. You heard that right. 10 out of 10, love it. This movie is very stupid, but I love it.
Yep.
Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg are both hilarious in this. People tell me this movie is bad all the time, but I don't care. This is a movie that I watch over and over and over and over and over again.
Whoa, was that 5 overs?
Yes, 5 overs. And don't get tired of it. I watch it constantly while trying to sleep. I think I've seen this movie more than any other living person.
Hell yeah.
Right? I have memorized most of this movie, parentheses, including the soundtrack, and can't get enough of it. I enjoy most of the characters in the movie and think it's great. I would definitely recommend this film to most people. It's funny, cool, and awesome. All caps. Watch this movie. About 12 exclamation marks.
I like that guy. I don't agree with him 100%, but I like him.
I'll tell you what, Jaden Cloud Rules 29 can be on this podcast anytime he wants to.
Hit us up.
I bet he's fucking fun. This other guy, on the other hand, he would not be good on the podcast.
Okay.
It's a little longer than I like to do, but again, like we talked about, this was hard to do. This was off Amazon. Maybe they should have gone with other guys.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. Trying to be funny. I see. Okay.
Warning, spoilers. So at least he gave that.
Okay.
Did you know the Lethal Weapon franchise was mostly ad-libbed or improvised? And guess what? They got it right. Okay. 3 out of 4 movies, but still. That's better than the other guys going for 0 for 1.
What was the bad Lethal Weapon one?
The 4th one.
Oh, okay.
It's always the last one.
Okay.
Well, they looked like they were having a party. They certainly invited 50 of their closest Hollywood friends for cameos. Too bad we weren't. The other guys, Wahlberg and Ferrell, act all wacky and goofy and excruciatingly unfunny for about an hour and a half. It actually feels like 3. And then get to what the movie's about. Redemption, I guess.
Redemption?
No, not at all. It's just them being them. In fact, Mark Wahlberg was okay being a traffic guy. Anyways, they lost me when they finally got to what their mission is. And let me spoil it a bit. It's about corporate greed. The same thing that's going on for, well, quite a while now.
What?
Who cares if you're making a movie about corporate greed? I don't get this. Going on quite a while?
What? I don't know. That was the part that got me. Like, yes. And are you saying it's good?
Who knows? And if you're not up to date, make sure you stick around for the credits for a liberal message on the wrongdoing of CEOs, government, and etc. Don't say anything. We'll get there. Blah, blah. This movie made me miss Riggs and Murtaugh, Lethal Weapon, and Lee and Carter, Rush Hour, so badly. It wasn't the worst movie I've seen in this terrible year of 2010, but it certainly proved one-liners and Will Ferrell both need to stick to Saturday Night Live. At least those skits are over and done with within about 5 minutes and not making us suffer about 100 more on the same one note. Before you comment, it kind of sounds like you at the end of this review.
I did not write this review, I promise you.
I know you didn't, but the bits, the skits, they didn't really land for you. He was more harsh than you were.
At this point, Will Ferrell had been off Saturday Night Live for 9 years?
So long.
Because I want to say like 2001 was probably his last year, and this movie was 2010. He'd been off it for a decade by this point.
Yeah, about a decade. Well, his last show on SNL was 2002.
Okay, yeah. So
8 years. But
okay,
come on, dude. And then the part that really stuck out more in this, if you're not up to date, make sure you stick around for the credits for a liberal message on the wrongdoings of the CEOs, the government, etc. That's not a liberal message, dude. If wrongdoings of CEOs and government officials doesn't upset you, you're on the wrong side no matter what side you're on.
Hey, Jacob, I don't know if we know the whole story on Jeffrey Epstein. So before your liberal message starts bashing Jeffrey Epstein, I need you to think about the whole story.
You know what? You're probably right. Enron probably needs to really, really tell me what happened. Because Enron probably was in the right.
Yeah, you don't know the whole story.
Mm-mm. You're right. And this guy showed us that.
The bombings of Laos and Cambodia, it was necessary.
Yeah, of course it was.
I fucking hate this shit. I hate this shit. It's not fucking political. It's assholes being assholes and getting away with it. We should not be okay with that.
Yeah, and it was a decent, funny movie made about it. Like, get over yourself. Like I said, if you're on the side of this guy, you're on the wrong side. It doesn't matter what you believe.
Trail of Tears wasn't that bad.
Yep.
I fucking hate this shit. It's not political.
No. But people try to make it. And that's what makes it funny, because this is just a stupid Will Ferrell movie.
Yes.
That makes fun of greedy sons of bitches.
He also makes fun of NASCAR.
Yep.
That upset me.
Did that upset you?
Yeah, just the whole, like, them trying to liberalize the movie by being like, oh yeah, all these people that fucked us over and never had to pay a cent actually, in fact, benefited from it.
Yep.
Nothing happened to them.
Yep.
The fact that that's a liberal message is fucking bullshit.
Yep. So with that being said, should people watch this movie? You tell me as the virgin, should people watch this movie, BJ?
You're probably not going to hate yourself for spending an hour 40 on this movie, but you don't have to go seek it out.
Okay. My take on that is, if you're a Will Ferrell fan, me and my brother talk on the phone, and half our conversations is quoting Will Ferrell movies. If you like Land of the Lost and you like anything Will Ferrell does, watch this movie. You'll fucking love it. If you're okay with Will Ferrell and you're like BJ and you think his best minutes are 15 minutes at a time, you're going to like this movie because he's very toned down. You should watch this movie. The bits are either going to land or they're not going to land. You're not going to know until you watch it, so fucking watch it.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
That was my first time.
Was it a good first time?
Yeah. Probably a very realistic first time.
Okay. It was good for me.
Good for you.
It was real good.
I'm glad your first time.
So
was better.
far on this podcast, I have not had a bad first time. Like, I honestly can't wait for my bad cherry popping experience. I'm excited.
Ladybird.
It's going to be hard for me to trace that movie. Let's try to find another.
Thank you for joining us. Join us next week as we discuss the absolute classic first Rambo movie, First Blood. If you enjoyed this podcast, follow us on all the socials at IRMFTpod. That is for I Remember My First Time, or shoot us an email at irmftpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next week.